Hi, I'm Nigel from HTC region, and in this session we'll be looking at the best camera module. Welcome to a camera module, an amazing camera, and we're going to talk about why the HTC One X has the best camera. Again, my name is Nigel. I'd be really happy to show you all the other features as well, but for now we're going to talk about the best. There's a lot of things around photos. I think about 45 billion photos are uploaded to Facebook every month. And the important thing about photos is that it's a representative of your life. No one wants to have a crappy picture to put up on Facebook. Bad picture, bad life. Good picture represents a better life. I know it's weird, but it's probably true. There are three scenarios that you always have issues with when it comes to lighting. And I've just summed that up here. Really, it's a no light, low light, and bright light scenario. Typically, a no light scenario, you'd feature something like HTC One X's Smart Flash. Our competition right now only has one level flash. That level is either on or off. More often than none, those lighting conditions that you have in a no light scenario are varying degrees of lack of light. There's no one fix-all solution for it. And you can see that right here in the middle picture. What happens is that with you have one light setting for your flash, you're gonna get a lot of blowout. You're gonna have, for instance, in this picture, I can't tell the difference between her teeth and her cheek and her face. It just looks like one white oversaturated blob. But with HTC One X, you're gonna get a smart flash function that's actually 5 levels of flash. It's automatically controlled, so the processor picks it up with a sensor inside the camera module, and what happens is that it will automatically adjust the flash setting to the respective no light condition. So again, the only phone right now that it's a 5-level smart flash setting. The other consistent issue that we have is low light. And I think that for every single one of us, when we're at the bar with our friends and we want to take a picture, you don't want to use a flash because again, you might blow the face out. But what we want to do is we want to take a look at how we can use a photo without having to use a flash. And you can do that with an f2.0 aperture. Now f2.0 I know is not really customer savvy. I don't know if there's any photography enthusiasts here, but I think for the average consumer, they wouldn't know what an f2.0 really means. What it actually means is that, like an eye, the camera lens has an iris that opens up larger and closes up smaller depending on the amount of light that's in the scenario. What this does at f2.0 is that it allows the camera aperture to get bigger to allow more light in. In fact, this is the best in class aperture you can get for a camera phone. The iPhone 4S has an f2.4 aperture, we have an f2.0. What that means is that we're about 44% better than the iPhone 4S in taking low light conditions. If you don't believe me, I suggest when you see one of your customers to ask them to do a comparison. Do the side-by-side. Take the HTC One X, take the iPhone 4S, take a shot of the same thing, and you'll see the difference. It is night and day, and we'll go through that together in the one-on-one session, or rather in the demo session. The other issue you have is bright light. And this is really common for places like Australia and most of the tropics where you have really bright midday sun. What you get is a really bright overexposed background and a very dark foreground. How do we balance that? We have optimal HDR. What does HDR mean? Does anybody know?
It takes a low level, mid level, and high level combines.
Correct, that's the process. HDR actually stands for high dynamic range, and like he said, it goes from high, medium, and low. It takes an oversaturated, undersaturated, and normal photo and puts it all together. The reason why the One X is the optimal HDR is because we have a quad-core processor that enables to do that feature simultaneously in the fastest way possible. We also have, it's coupled with the f2.0 lens, which allows more light for greater clarity and detail. I think one thing that I like to make apparent to the customer is that how is it relevant to your life? Give them scenarios, give them places and opportunities to make it clear that it works for them. Tell them that in low light situations you can pick up a lot more detail. When you're at the bar with your friends, a candlelight dinner, or with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband or your wife, you can pick up a lot more detail with the f2.0 lens. Right? Those precious moments that you want to share again on Facebook at the best quality possible, this can do that with a bright background as well. And it captures sunsets beautifully. And like this slide says, I think a lot of our favorite moments in life are captured in the dark. Now I've got a couple models here right now. I'm going to take one and pass it to you guys. So just take a look at the camera function. And what I'm going to do is that the camera function, it's really easy to use, fast activation. You can actually show HDR and low light as two functions you can pick yourself. The smart flash automatically activates, so there's no thinking involved in it at all from a user end. And so the main features are no light with smart flash 5 levels, low light f2.0 aperture, and bright light with optimal HDR.